I see somebody up in the balcony holding up a book that was written by your daughter, Nancy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a marvelous book. I had Nancy on the show. About, I don't know, 3-4 months ago when the book first came out. And she presented me with the book. It's a big coffee table type book. And she explores the Sinatra story, even the warts.
Sure.
And there were a couple.
Sure.
But the pictures, the photographs in it are just sensational.
She worked, I think, about 10 years getting that thing together. Very quietly she did it. I never said much to me about it. I knew that she was writing notes to friends and asking for little anecdotes and stuff like that. Some friends did it, replied. Other friends said that they couldn't at the moment, and others just ignored it, which was strange, but that's the way it goes. Maybe they were afraid to say what they wanted to say. I don't know. But I think it's a wonderful book, in that she stayed at it for all of those years, a long time. You know, I love her for doing it, and also I love the fact that she didn't do one of those kill daddy, kill mama kind of things. Because I got a little weary of those.
I was just going to say, there seems to be a tendency these days for offspring to write that kind of a book, and a fellow's afraid to die. Well, you know, what are the kids going to say about it?
Yeah.
You know that Lassie wrote a book called My Mother the Bitch.
Ta-dum-bum. That's why Lassie never had a kennel. Your other daughter, Tina, I read at least, Francis, is preparing a TV, is it a documentary on your life?
Yeah, she's doing a miniseries.
A miniseries. Will somebody play you as a young man?
There'll be 2 actors and myself in the end of it. A young man, middle-aged, and then at my age now.
The young man who plays you as a young man.
Yes.
I sure hope he's ready to lead a full rehearsal.
Or leave town.
Joey Lewis, when Frank Sinatra did The Life of Joey in a picture called The Joker is Wild. Joey, you know, the story may be apocryphal. You can tell me if it's true or not. But supposedly Joey came to the set one day, and there was a break in the action. They were waiting to shoot the next scene, and Frank is seated in one of those canvas chairs and surrounded by like 6 or 7 very long-legged, lovely ladies. And Joey said, "Frank, you're having a better time filming my life than I had living it."
That's what he said. Exactly what he said.
I miss him. I know he was a special friend of yours. He was a lovely man.
I think most of us in our business miss Joe a great deal.
Yeah, he was something special. Joey Lou. He was known as the king of the nightclubs. Speaking of nightclubs, there was a period of time when you worked places in New York, when they had places in New York, like the Copacabana. And
I also worked in that room right over there.
Over here, that was the Empire.
Called the Wedgwood Room.
Wedgwood Room. That was a few months ago.
In there, yeah, with Emil Coleman and the DeMarcos, the dance team, and different kind of acts in there. I see they made it smaller now. It was a little bigger than that.
Well, I think, are drawing more people to this lobby today. It's amazing the effect that Morty Storm has.
Morty Storm III is one of the greats.
He is
right there.
He's one of the greats. Now, Sunday night, as I said, is on behalf of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. But you and Red are on a tour now, am I right?
Right.
You work the Meadowlands tomorrow night. And then where do you go from there? Do you know offhand?
Where we go, Red? Atlantic City. We go.
Oh, that's right. You work the Golden Nugget.
And then we go. Then we continue on one-nighters and here and there. We got a lot of work to do.
You mentioned working for Memorial Sloan Kettering over 6 years. Barbara, your wife, has been deeply involved for some years now with the World Mercy Fund, and that usually happens in New York in the fall. Am I right?
Yes, it does. Usually.
There's usually a show, in fact, right here at the Waldorf for the World Mercy Fund, and over the years you've been involved in that and gotten some other performers to come along. Barbara actually went to parts of East Africa to see what was going on there.
She spent some time over there. She's now on something that's rather important, I think. in any nation. She's helping to construct a building in the Eisenhower Center in
Palm Springs?
In Rancho Mirage that has to do with abused children. She's trying to get the nation more alerted to the fact that the kids are being hurt by grown-ups.
Earlier, somebody was on the show and said that seems to be handed down. In other words, if you were abused as a child, as you become a parent for some reason, when you do become a parent, you seem to have the tendency to abuse your children.
Well, Barbara's told me that in some of the most of the interviews, as a matter of fact, that they have their committee that they have with people who have been abused or are being abused, a boy or girl of 6 or 7 or 8 years old. They find out that their father or uncle or somebody else was also an abuser, a victim. Yes.
Yeah, or a victim.
That's sad. It's really too bad.
And that's being done out in the Springs.
Yeah. Kids ought to be hugged and kissed and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Don't hurt them.
Your as far as a future album is concerned, I would be torn apart if I didn't ask you whether you have anything in the works as far as another album coming out.
Strangely enough, day before yesterday, I called up Mr. Jones, Mr. Quincy Jones, and I said, Q, I said, I got an idea for an album. He said, hey, man, he said, I'm dead for 10 months.
Really?
That's it. He said, he laid it on me. I said, goodbye.
That was it? But you would only, at this point, you'd only want to work with Quincy?
No, not necessarily, but I had an idea that he and I should do something. I have some thoughts. But if we obviously can't wait that long, so we're going to try to do it with one of the other men. Either Billy May or one of the guys like that. We'll do something.
I must tell you that the audience, certainly in this area, and I'm sure all around the nation and the world, is hungry for Sinatra product.
I don't know. I know that they're now beginning to, a group of people are beginning to choose a lot of the things we did with Nelson at Capitol and put them on CDs.
Right.
Now, we're going to make a library of CDs, which I think is kind of fun.
I remember once out at your house in Palm Springs, you showed me you have a section in the viewing room, and you have everything, I guess, you've ever recorded.
Yes, right.
And it's done chronologically and alphabetically and cross-indexed.
Right.
Do you ever run into a situation where you're driving in a car or something and some guy on the air plays a Sinatra recording and you don't remember doing it?
No, unfortunately, the other way it bothers me. So I remember the bad note that's coming up. You know it's coming in about 4 more bars. There's going to be a clam in there somewhere.
We have had so many requests for your version with Dagmar of Mama Will Bark. Would you rather not discuss that?
I would rather not discuss that.
This may come as somewhat of a shock to you, but the WNEW audience has almost a proprietary interest in you. They feel that whatever you do, wherever you go, they follow you, they adore you, and I think we've discussed this before. The love is just incredible.
I know that. Thank you. This may come as a big shock to you, but we're leaving now.
I was just going I know you have a rehearsal. Yeah. I thank you. My guest has been the chairman of the board, Francis Albert Sinatra. Thank you, Frank. All right. Why do I have the feeling now that the last 9 minutes of the show I'm going to be alone? My guest has been Frank Sinatra. Speaking of Mr. Sinatra, hear this.